The
Look at
rain
me.
hammered
I
my
need to know what
windshield
you're
like it was
hiding in
trying
that
to
vehicle
shatter
right
my
now.
resolve.
I told you,
Each
there's
drop a
nothing.
reminder that I was running.
Please, you have to
Not
believe
just
me.
from the speed trap, but from the hollow ache inside me that no highway could outpace. My hands gripped the steering wheel so tight my knuckles bleached white, the dashboard clock mocking me at 2:17 a.m., because who the hell drives through rural Ohio at this hour unless they're fleeing something they can't name? Then the lights exploded in my rear view, blue and red strobes slicing through the storm, and my heart slammed against my ribs like it knew this pullover wasn't about a ticket. It was about to rewrite my entire damn story. I killed the engine, the sudden silence amplifying the thunder rumbling overhead, and fumbled for my license with trembling fingers. The officer's silhouette approached through the downpour, her boots splashing in puddles that mirrored the chaos in my chest. She was all sharp edges and quiet authority, tall, with rain-slicked dark hair peeking from under her hat, her uniform clinging just enough to hint at the strength beneath. As she tapped on my window, her voice cut through the roar like a lifeline. "License and registration, ma'am. You know why I pulled you over." I handed over the documents, my eyes darting up to meet hers for the first time. God, those eyes, deep brown, steady, like polished mahogany that had seen too many storms but refused to break. "Speeding," I muttered, my voice cracking on the edge of exhaustion. "I'm sorry, officer. It's been a long night." She scanned the papers under her flashlight's beam, the light casting shadows that danced across her face, highlighting the faint scar on her jawline. A story etched in skin, I thought absurdly. "Kylie Harper," she read aloud, her tone softening just a fraction. "From Cincinnati. Heading where, exactly?" "This stretch of I-71 doesn't lead anywhere good at this hour." "Nowhere," I whispered, the word hanging heavy between us. "Just away." It was the truth, raw and unfiltered. Away from the fiancé who'd proposed with a ring that felt like a noose, away from the family dinners where I'd smiled through the suffocation of pretending to be the daughter they wanted, away from the mirror that lied every morning about the woman staring back. She paused, her gaze lingering on me longer than protocol demanded. Rain drummed on the cruiser roof behind her, a rhythmic heartbeat to our stalled moment. "We've all got our ways, Kylie. But sometimes the road pulls you back." She straightened, but instead of the ticket, she slid my ID back through the crack in the window. "Slow down. Not just the car, the rest of it. Life's too short to outrun yourself." And with that, she vanished into the storm, her words echoing like thunder in my soul. I sat there, engine off, rain blurring the world outside, until the taillights of her cruiser faded into the night. Pulled over. Let go. Changed. Who was she? And why did those words feel like the first real breath I'd taken in years? The next morning, sunlight pierced the motel curtains like an unwelcome interrogation, and I woke with her voice still looping in my head. "Slow down. The rest of it." My phone buzzed incessantly. Texts from Mark, my almost fiancé, laced with concern that bordered on control. "Where are you? Call me." I deleted them one by one, the weight lifting just a little. By noon, I was back on the road, not fleeing anymore, but chasing something undefined, her words a compass I couldn't ignore. Columbus unfolded before me in a haze of urban sprawl, skyscrapers kissing the clouds, the Scioto River snaking through like a vein of silver. I checked into a nondescript Airbnb on the east side, a cozy brick row house with creaky floors and windows overlooking a park where joggers dodged fallen leaves. It was meant to be a pit stop, a place to regroup before heading back to the life I'd nearly chained myself to. But fate, that cruel jester, had other plans. 3 days in, I wandered into a local coffee shop called Brewed Awakening, ironic name for a woman awakening to her own unraveling. The air smelled of roasted beans and fresh cinnamon, a balm against a chill October wind. I ordered a black coffee, extra strong, and claimed a corner table by the window, my journal open but blank, pen hovering like a held breath. That's when she walked in. Officer Alex Rivera, Her name tag gleamed under the Edison bulbs as she shrugged off her jacket, revealing a fitted Henley that hugged her athletic frame. No uniform today, just jeans that spoke of off-duty ease and boots scuffed from too many midnight shifts. Her hair fell loose now, waves of espresso framing a face that was all quiet intensity, the scar on her jaw catching the light like a secret shared. She spotted me before I could duck, her lips curving into that same knowing smile from the rain-soaked night. Kylie Harper, the speed demon from I-71. She slid into the seat across from me uninvited, her presence filling the space like warm smoke. Fancy meeting you here. Slowing down yet? My pulse quickened, a flush creeping up my neck. You remember me? Out of all the tickets you could have written, I didn't write one. She leaned in, elbows on the table, her scent, clean soap and faint citrus, wafting across. Something about you stuck. The way look. Seen it too many times in my line of work. We talked, or rather, she drew me out like a confession. Alex was 32, a transplant from Miami, drawn to Ohio's steadiness after her own family imploded in a haze of machismo and unspoken grief. Her father, a cop himself, gone too soon to a bullet that should have missed. Patrol's my anchor, she said, stirring her latte with absent-minded swirls. Keeps the ghosts at bay. I spilled fragments of my own mess. The engagement party where Mark's kiss tasted like obligation. The late nights scrolling through lives that looked freer than mine. I'm 28, and I feel like I've been sleepwalking. Like everyone's got a script but me. Her eyes held mine unblinking. Scripts are for plays, Kylie. Real life's messier. Braver. She reached across, her fingers brushing mine, just a graze, but it ignited something electric, a spark that traveled straight to my core. I pulled back, heart hammering, but the warmth lingered. That brush was the hook, reeling me in deeper. Over the next week, our paths crossed like they were scripted by some benevolent force. Her cruiser parked outside the grocery where I stocked up on takeout, a nod through the window, a text from an unknown number, saw your car. Still speeding. That led to drinks at a dive bar on High Street. Alex ordered whiskey neat, her laugh low and throaty when I confessed my 2 left feet dancing skills. Good thing I'm a natural leader, she teased, her hand steady on my waist as we swayed to a jukebox crooning Patsy Cline. But beneath the flirtation simmered my terror. I dated men. Mark, college flings, the safe checkboxes of heteronormality. Women? A crush on my high school theater teacher, buried under layers of denial. Alex's touch, casual yet charged, unearthed it all, a seismic shift that left me dizzy. One night, after too many beers at her apartment, a minimalist space with framed photos of sunsets over the Everglades and a worn leather couch that smelled like her, I blurted, "What if I'm not who I thought?" She set down her glass, the city lights filtering through blinds in golden slats across her skin. Then you're becoming who you are. That's the gift, Kylie. Not everyone gets pulled over in time to swerve. We didn't kiss that night. But as I left, her hand on the small of my back, the door clicking shut behind me, I knew the road ahead was hers and mine, intertwined in ways I couldn't yet map. Winter crept in like a thief, frosting the windows of my temporary haven and turning Columbus into a postcard of snow-draped streets and holiday lights that twinkled like false promises. Mark's calls escalated to voicemails laced with hurt. "Kylie, this silent treatment? It's killing me. Come home." Home. The words soured on my tongue. Instead, I dove headfirst into Alex's world. Patrol ride-alongs that blurred the line between observer and accomplice, her radio crackling with codes that sounded like poetry to my untrained ears. One shift, under a sky bruised purple with impending snow, we responded to a domestic call in German village. The air was thick with shouts echoing from a brownstone, a woman's pleas cutting sharper than any siren. Alex moved like Grace in tactical gear, her voice calm as she de-escalated the hulking husband, badge glinting under porch lights. I watched from the cruiser, heart in my throat, as she escorted the wife, bruised but unbroken, to safety. "You are incredible," I said later, over greasy diner fries at 3 a.m. She shrugged, but her eyes betrayed the weight.
Part of the job.
But it never gets easier, seeing someone trapped in their own hell. Her fingers traced patterns on the Formica table, inches from mine. Reminds me of my mom. Stayed too long in hers. Taught me to spot the exits early. That vulnerability cracked me open. Back at her place, with the radiator humming and a bottle of Merlot half empty on the coffee table, I leaned in. Our lips met, soft at first, tentative, like testing storm-tossed waters. Then deeper, her hands framing my face, thumbs brushing away tears I hadn't realized were falling. It was fire and flood, her taste of salt and sweetness unraveling every lie I'd told myself. We tumbled to the couch, clothes shedding like old skins, her body strong and yielding against mine, whispers of yes and here, weaving through the night. Morning brought clarity and terror. I slipped out before dawn, the city awakening in grays and golds, my reflection in the bathroom mirror a stranger flushed with discovery. Was this love? Or just the thrill of rebellion? Mark's latest message burned. "I'm coming to find you." Panic clawed at me. Alex texted. "Last night was real. Breakfast." I typed back lies about errands, then ghosted, the pullover's freedom curdling into chains of my own making. Days blurred into avoidance, power walking the Olentangy Trail alone, burying myself in freelance graphic design gigs that paid the rent but starved the soul. Alex's shifts kept her scarce, but her absence echoed louder than presence. Then, the knock, sharp, insistent, on my door one sleet-lashed evening. There she stood, uniform rumpled, eyes stormy. "You vanished."
After
"Everything. Talk to me, Kylie." I let her in, the room shrinking around us. Words tumbled out. The fear of labels, the guilt gnawing at Mark's shattered trust, the family I'd disappoint if I chose her. "I'm not brave like you. What if this ruins me?" She pulled me close, her embrace a fortress against the wind howling outside. Bravery isn't absence of fear, it's moving through it. And ruining? That's what happens when you stay small. Her lips brushed my temple, a promise in the pressure. "I'm not asking you to burn it all down. Just let me in." One step. That step led to stolen weekends, drives to Hocking Hills where we hiked fog-shrouded trails, her hand in mine swinging like it belonged there. Lazy Sundays in bed, her tracing constellations on my skin with fingertips that knew every scar. Romance bloomed in quiet gestures, a playlist of indie folk she curated for my commutes, wildflowers tucked into my jacket pocket after her shift. But kith and kin loomed, shadows lengthening. Thanksgiving approached, a minefield of tradition. My parents' call came midweek, voices warm with expectation. "Bring Mark, sweetie. We've got the turkey prepped." I demurred, citing work, but the lie tasted bitter. Alex, sensing the fracture, invited me to her family's potluck, her abuela's arroz con pollo, cousins ribbing her about, that mystery girl. "No pressure," she said, but her eyes pleaded. I went. The Rivera home in Linden pulsed with life, laughter spilling from the kitchen, merengue thumping softly, the air rich with spices and stories. Abuela pulled me into a hug scented with vanilla, whispering, "Mija, love doesn't ask permission." Around the table, Alex's hand found mine under the cloth, a anchor in the storm of my doubts. For the first time, I felt seen, not as the perfect daughter, but as Kylie, flawed, fierce, finally free. But freedom's price came swift. Mark arrived unannounced the next day, his rental car crunching gravel outside my Airbnb. Tall, earnest, with that boy-next-door smile now edged in pain, he stood on the porch, bouquet wilting in the cold. "I drove all night. We need to fix this." Guilt crashed over me like a wave. Inside, Alex lingered in the kitchen, giving space, but her presence hummed like a live wire. Mark poured out his heart, plans for a house, kids, the future we'd sketched in safer times. I love you. Kentucky, whatever's going on, we can work through it. Tears stung as I knelt by the coffee table, his hands in mine. I love you too. But not like that. Not anymore. The words freed him and caged me in the wreckage. He left with quiet dignity, a hug that lingered like goodbye, his taillights fading into the dusk. Alex emerged then, wrapping me in silence first, then solace. You did it, she murmured, her lips on my hair. The hardest part. We made love that night slow and sacred, bodies mapping forgiveness, her whispers vowing we'd weather the aftershocks together. Winter deepened, snow blanketing Columbus in hush, but my family's fallout erupted like buried ordnance. Mom's emails turned accusatory. What happened with Mark? And who's this Alex? Don't throw away everything for confusion. Dad's call was sterner, laced with disappointment that cut deeper than anger. We're your family, Kylie. Come home. Sort this out. Isolation gnawed, even with Alex's steadfast warmth, her shifts pulling her away, leaving me to pace the apartment, phone silent. One night, after a particularly brutal voicemail from my sister, "You're breaking Mom's heart," I spiraled. Pacing the frost-laced balcony, cigarette trembling in my fingers, a vice resurrected from college, I dialed Alex at 1 a.m. No answer. Panic bloomed. What if this love was just another escape, destined to fracture? Dawn brought her pounding on my door, eyes bloodshot from a double shift. Saw the missed call. Talk. I unloaded. The rejection sting, the fear that my queerness was a betrayal, not a birthright. She listened, then pulled a faded photo from her wallet, her and her mom, young and laughing on a Miami beach. She loved a woman once. Before Dad. Society broke them apart. Don't let it break you. That raw honesty shattered my walls. We cried together, then laughed through the tears, planning a road trip south, her roots, my reckoning. But life, that unrelenting plotter, interjected. It started with a routine traffic stop gone sideways. Alex radioed details mid-shift. Suspect fleeing east on 270, possible weapon. I was at home, sketching logos for a client, when my phone lit up, unknown caller, her precinct. Officer Rivera's been shot. Stable but. The world tilted, colors leaching to gray. I raced to Ohio Health Riverside, corridors blurring in a haze of antiseptic and urgency. In the waiting room, her partner, a grizzled vet named Torres, clapped my shoulder. She's tough. Bullet grazed her vest, but the ricochet. He trailed off. Hours stretched eternal, coffee turning to sludge in my gut. Finally, the curtain parted. Alex lay pale against starched sheets, for lines snaking like vines, a bandage wrapping her shoulder. Her eyes found mine, weak but wicked. Told you. Slow down. Laughter bubbled through tears as I climbed beside her, careful of wires, her good hand lacing with mine. Recovery was a gauntlet. Physical therapy sessions where I'd massage knots from her back, her winces masked by grins. Nights when pain kept sleep at bay, and we'd talk till dawn. Dreams of a cabin in the hills, adoptions maybe, a life unscripted. My family? A tentative olive branch from Mom, post-surgery visit. She loves you fiercely, Kylie. That's family too. Dad followed, gruff, but thawing over hospital jello. Spring unfurled in verdant promise, cherry blossoms dusting Schiller Park like confetti. Alex returned to light duty, our evenings reclaimed, picnics by the river, her head on my lap as I read poetry. Audre Lorde, her words a mirror to our mirrored souls. Romance reignited in full blaze, a weekend in Cuyahoga Valley, tent pitched under stars, her body arching beneath mine in the firelight's glow, moans mingling with cricket choruses. Yet climax loomed, not in bliss but breach. A precinct gala, black ties and badges, Invited us as a couple, the first public outing. Whispers rippled. Rivera's girl? Colleagues clapped Alex's back, but sidelong glances pierced. Then, my past collided. Mark, in town for business, cornered me at the bar. You look happy. She the reason? His voice cracked, not with venom, but vulnerability. I get it now. Wish you the stars, Kentucky. Forgiveness flowed, a balm. But the real storm brewed at home. Abuela's health faltered. A stroke, pulling Alex to Miami for weeks. Alone, doubts resurfaced. Was I enough, untethered from my own moorings? Letters from Mom arrived, laced with love's apology. We were wrong.
Be you.
We're learning. Alex returned bronzed and burdened, but her proposal came unadorned. On bended knee in our kitchen, rings simple silver with an embedded sapphire. Marry me? Not for show, but for us, the mess, the magic. Tears blurred her face as I nodded, pulling her up into a kiss that sealed fates. The wedding was small. Backyard in Columbus, summer sun gilding vows exchanged under an oak. Family mingled, my parents toasting with tentative pride, Abuela in a wheelchair beaming, Alex's cousins dancing merengue with mine. That night, in our new apartment overlooking the skyline, bodies entwined, I whispered, "You pulled me over. Saved me." She smiled against my skin. We saved each other. Years later, with a daughter named Luna, adopted from foster care, her giggles echoing our home, and Alex promoted to sergeant, training rookies on de-escalation, I look back on that rainy pullover as providence. Not an end, but Genesis. Life's roads twist, but with her hand in mine, every turn feels like home.
Just heading home from
The
work,
words
officer.
that night, they
I need
didn't
you to
just
step back
change
to my
me,
car.
they set me
Okay.
free.